On today's episode, featured videos include today's bonus features include Hi there, everyone. Welcome to episode 40 of the supplemental broadcast here on Alexandria Alternative Media Broadcasting and OK Copernicus production. I'm your host, Jess, but you can also call me Epitome or Burn Kid because I'm Epitome the Burn Kid. Please be sure to follow the entire archival project, hashtag YouTube Recommended Chronicles, on X or Tumblr for the latest videos, music, memes, and more. Listen to the official soundtrack on SoundCloud. And if you're watching me on YouTube, please be sure to find me on Rumble should anything happen to this channel. All links discussed in today's episode can be found below in the description box. And please be sure to subscribe, like, share, follow, and tell a friend about the many things we cover in our program. For deeper dives on the more spiritual, esoteric side of the topics we cover, coupled with a hearty syllabus of phenomenal information in the form of YouTube videos, don't forget to check out my other podcast series, Pan Panen Pious Prophetic Ponderings. I would also like to take a little time to thank everyone who has supported OK Copernicus and all the projects I'm working on, and supporting all the music across all the major streaming platforms, listening to my tracks. I've released across many volumes of the Copernican Dispatch, with much more to come. A warm welcome indeed to my new and returning subscribers, followers, and viewers who are joining us on this wild journey of truth and apocalyptic enlightenment. I'm so happy to have you all back after a brief break to recharge, recalibrate, rebalance, and relocate as we continue to traverse the emerging complexities of the coming era. And on with today's featured video recommendations. Our first video today takes us to the Bohemian Grove with Two Old Dudes. That's the channel's name, not a personal opinion. Here's a little excerpt from their transcript. And I quote, "In today's episode, we ask, is there a place on Earth where the world's most powerful men participate in pseudo-sacrificial ritual at the foot of a giant owl? We're speaking of the Bohemian Grove Club. So like a curious traveler on a quest, we embark upon the winding roads of information, staying with us for a ride into knowledge. The super secret Bohemian Grove Club is in Sonoma County, California, and has been around since 1872. Every year in June and July, rumors about robed figures and ritual ceremonies run rampant. Doesn't help that 5 United States presidents have been members of the club since 1971. And end quote. And you want to know why we don't trust our government, really? Okay, that's cute. Now, on to our second video. This is another good one. 5D Reptilian Hive Mind Exposed, David Icke. 2026 Soul Farm Online. Matrix. What's it? Oh, Matrix Code Leaked is the title of the video, and As Within is the channel that is featuring that one. David Icke talks about Matrix Code in the latest video excerpt that released from the As Within channel. We're featuring here as our second video pick. He walks us through the epistemology of what the programming of the false matrix consists of, so that we might better be immune to all its ill effects. We were born to be alive. We were not born to be human batteries for insatiable energy harvesters who thought they could usurp the world by corrupting it with enforced usury systems and power dynamics. He puts it all together well in a concise presentation. And on to our third video. Off Grid with Doug and Stacy are responsible for this most informative video. They are going to introduce us to a book titled Transhumanist Genocide that I think we should all take a look at. From AI to 5G to weather modification, Doug and Stacy keep it real in hopes that those who need to get real about the seriousness of these topics have a better chance at getting real and preparing for the future. And just a little bit about Doug and Stacy. They're really cool. They have been living off-grid since 2010, and they share their lives on their YouTube channel. So if you're trying to make your way out of the default world, out of the matrix and off the grid, definitely check them out. They're really excellent. Our fourth video comes from Dr. James Lindsay at New Discourses and is titled DEI is Speaking Bitterness. One of the biggest unveilings I've experienced this apocalypse is the prevalence and prominence of black magic, spell work, root work, energetic projections, and manipulation being the primary means that any government's function is rendered. Fully illusory societies crumbling upon the knowledge of said illusions are a very real-world matter all of us should be preparing to tackle in the coming decades as this timeline story unfolds. Here's a little excerpt Dr. Lindsay left in his description box from episode 97, and I quote, "In Mao's China, the population was turned against itself through relentless campaigns known as speaking bitterness. Of course, this was prompted and forced by the communists, and it worked to their advantage by tearing apart the fabric of the communities they were, air quotes, transforming. We have been doing the same thing here in the West, primarily at work and in our schools, under names like DEI training, unconscious bias training, social emotional learning, and broadly the term sensitivity training. In this episode of New Discourses Bullets, host James Lindsay gives us the original context for these disastrous trainings so that we can better be equipped to expose and stop them, because there's a lot of this going around. Bitcoin University is the channel providing our fifth video today, titled EU Preparing to Steal Your Stuff. Let's hop on over to that description box for more. And I quote, "As the EU attempts to deal with its massive debt, GDP levels, high taxes, money printing, and outright confiscation will all be used. Bitcoin as an exit from the fiat system will also be highly monitored and discouraged. A similar surveillance and confiscation state is also coming to the US and the UK. Will Trump come out in favor of digital IDs too? It wouldn't surprise me at all. All it would take is one big cyber attack or terrorist attack, real or false flag, to have every American sheeple begging for internet passports and a national ID. Nietzsche was right. The government is the coldest of all cold monsters. Everything the government says is a lie, and everything it has stolen." Preach, Nietzsche. Preach. That is so real. And why not end our main features with a little antiquated potty humor? Okay, not exactly. How about Tartarian toilets and more? Jared Boosters has us covered in his video titled Tartarian Toilets and the Antiquitech of the 19th Century. Paris, France, cast iron repurposed, 1865. Let me take you to a short word from Jared. He says, "Howdy y'all. Today we will look at a collection of photographs taken in Paris in the year 1865. The subject matter will be the multitude of cast iron and masonry structures being founded along the streets of the city during the early 19th century. Initially, before translating the titles for the images, I wasn't exactly sure what I was looking at. To me, it appeared to be intricate antiquitech, or ancient technology stationed outside the most major architecture. Yet once I began to translate the titles for the images, I was taken aback. Today, according to the current narrative, we are looking at some of the first public toilets in Paris installed directly into the streets. Most being installed with intricate cast iron lights, these structures truly appear out of place to me. The sheer magnitude of some of these cast iron and masonry creations is also worth note. A portion of the larger public water cabinets are multiple stories tall, and many of them also include cast iron domes. Could these 1865 photographs reveal more than we could expect about the true nature of Paris in the 19th century? Do these cast iron masterpieces look out of place to you? I'd love to hear all your insights and ideas in the comments. And that wraps up our main features. on to our bonus features. Our first bonus feature, and I want to just take a moment to give you a special note. This is a part of videos that I've been being featured on Pan Panen. So this is a channeling video, and you're going to find that it ties into the stories that we go over here on Supplemental Broadcast, because it's like a macro micro view overage of current events. The first video is coming in from Intuitive Heart with a story time, and it is titled "There is a compilation of evidence connecting the dots of centuries of ... And just like we talked about the toilet Antiquitech, this is the more on the spiritual side of what we see, the material side of things, the overlap of everything. It's truly fascinating. Our second bonus video comes in from Doug and Stacy Offgrid, and it's a warning about cell phones. Now you know. Go check that out for more tech safety. Our third video is Money is Broken, the truth about our financial system, and that comes in from the Channel Coin Bureau. Fourth up, from the channel Conspiracy Are Us, is Jehovah versus the Star Cities. Our fifth bonus feature, Why Socialism Can Never Work, the Why Minutes. And our sixth and final, and really, this one's a good one to watch, guys, especially if you considered those electric vehicles. Just take a peek at this video titled 8 EVs Self-Combust Daily, Shanghai Pudong Toll Station. And the channel for that is China Observer. And that leads us to my favorite part of the show, my Auspicious op-ed. It's my little time to share some words that I composed with everyone. So let's get to it. This is going to be the first Auspicious op-ed in the series of pieces dedicated to the topic of predictive programming embedded in retro cartoons and anime. And I'm titling this series Esoteric Predictive Programming Animated Retrospective. And we are going to start with one of my favorites of all time under the category of super rewatchable picks. We're starting with Robotech. All right, so the 1985 classic, known for its iconic transforming Veritech fighters, memorable characters, and all that space opera sci-fi saga goodness that is fun for all ages. So many themes embedded into this Japanimation classic to tell you about that are similar to what we've been experiencing in a similar time frame to what actually went on the show. Note, Robotech is an American series, but the animation comes from 3 separate anime series with their own stories that are not related in any way to the stories in Robotech. So we use the term Japanimation for this method where you add a new story to the edited post-production footage in lieu of just dubbing the Japanese series into English. So that's why we call this one Japanimation. Anyway, although I'll be, I will be linking everyone to the complete series in the description box. So please take note that although I'm giving you all of that, I do find that the book series by Jack McKinney is absolutely phenomenal, well worth the read. Let's go ahead and get into the most interesting highlights that relate to our experiences in this 21st century real world that has transpired before us. All right, so the first part of the series, known as the Macross Saga, begins with when an alien spaceship crashes down to Earth in 1999. That's the same year I turned 18. In the midst of a global civil war. The UN Spacey, which is very similar in spirit to our UN, implements the Robotech Defense Force after researching and refurbishing this alien technology for human use in warfare. The Zentradi aliens are a giant species of humanoids that do not reproduce like Homo sapiens, but instead they utilize cloning chambers and also have the ability to micronize in similar chambers to be human size. All of the alien species throughout the series share many characteristics with beings from our own real-world hidden history, such as Tartaria, beyond the ice wall, or what other people call Antarctica, Atlantis, Lemuria, and so on. The power of love, music and frequency, and energy are an important overarching theme that aid in tying the three series together that were used to make Robotech. Ethics, morality, and discernment remain primary themes that drive the story, which is something that has been largely missing from this demographic of programming since the late 80s. Humans having to adapt to a wide array of challenging circumstances, oftentimes at the hands of their evil government officials, are handled mindfully with complexity and nuance. From civilian hostages in space to interspecies relations and the ethics of war to the ethics of love, much to ponder and contemplate emerges with each episode. While the Macross saga mostly takes place in space during an intergalactic war, the second part of the series, known as Southern Cross or the Robotech Masters, takes place on a war-ravaged, militarily policed, globalized into one-world state. A new race of humanoid aliens and their clones are introduced that utilize frequencies to enforce their agendas, heal their soldiers, and employ a type of eugenics on the peoples created and modified via melodically induced mind control from highly advanced and militarized musical equipment. Complex topics regarding loyalty, war, governance, and obedience are highly prevalent throughout the middle of the series. The meaning of life and what is truly worth fighting for continue to unfold with each storyline. Instances of nepotism, despotism, and corruption also increase as ethics and morality tend to drive the plot twists of this show. The real racism between different humanoids, contrasting the many instances of cooperative relations and harmony between others, allow the viewer to see that regardless of humanoid type, it takes all kinds to make the world what it is. The world that we're currently living in most parallels this part of the series in regards to what our governments wish they could get away with, pertaining to our treatment as citizens. This part of the series also ends with a worldwide invasion and bombardment similar to the Macross saga, before progressing into the final chapter of the original series known as the New Generation. The New Generation shows us a world that I would expect to see after a seriously cataclysmic event sends modern society into a new dark age of sorts. When I think of what I expect towns or cities to look like after the pole shift, micronova, and mud floods, this part of the show really delivers. Another alien race, known as the Invid, are the primary nemesis for our heroes, but very sketchy townspeople and leaders are wherever populated sectors have formed. Sentience, perseverance, resource management, and survival in a harsh environment are the topics that stand out the most. While love, friendship, and freedom are very important themes, they really do develop in a much deeper sense with this group of main characters that are featured in this part of the series. If this sounds like something you'd like to check out, I'll be linking the movie Robotech to the Sentinels as well, which is where the characters from the Macross saga are back in space with the Robotech Expeditionary Force, while Southern Cross and New Generation from the original series are actually happening. So they're basically parallel. To enjoy the Sentinels, make sure to check out Jack McKinney's novels, and if possible, track down copies of the out-of-print comics by the Waltrip brothers that were printed by multiple publishers back in the 80s and 90s, and Robotech Art Volume 3 also is all about the Sentinels. So if you are into that, or if you're so inclined, those are pretty fun. I've found much of these online and in comic stores alike. And that wraps up today's show. I'd like to take a moment and introduce our musical selection by me, Epitome the Burn Kid. This one's called Downfall of Davos Man. It's really great. I got a link for you down in the description box for the SoundCloud. And thank you so much for being with me for another show. Make sure, if you haven't already, to come on over and follow me on Tumblr or on X. And make sure to come on over and say hi on SoundCloud too. That would be really great. I like to tell you guys every time, oh wow, my cats are running around. Okay, so, super distracted. Okay, I have to actually cut out of here. Anyways, new phrase. We have a slogan now at OK Copernicus Productions. So I'm just gonna close with our new phrase. All right, Ptolemaic vibes, alchemical knowledge, bangin' beats, OK Copernicus. All right, I hope to see you guys next time for another installment of Supplemental Broadcast. Bye, everyone.